Hello and welcome to Decorate It. My name is Mary and this is Wes.
Hey.
And tonight's episode is 36 and it is the final episode of the year. Next time we see you is in 2025.
Whoop whoop.
This is when we get to say see you next year. This one is going to be discussing kind of the year in review, some of our favorite projects, some of the events and people we met, just kind of summing up the year. But before we really dive into the episode, we had a friend pass on December 25th, and I kind of want to take a moment of silence for Kurt Baker. Kurt Baker was a phenomenal teacher. He touched hundreds of people. He ran Suncoast Rod Builders down in Florida, taught so many people out of his garage and at meetings and things of that nature, worked for Mudhole for many, many years, and has been a blessing to the rod community, and he is going to be dearly missed. But there's 3 photos that we'll filter through very slowly because they are the only ones that I have, and I borrowed them from Mudhole's page because I actually never got a chance to take pictures of Kurt when I was with him. So for 1 minute, remember Kurt. It sucks to find out about that.
It does.
I'm going to miss him. He always came up to us at ICAST. We really got to know him like about two years ago, and he would always find me while I was over at the American Tackle, and we'd chit chat, and we got to be good friends. So he's going to be really missed by the rod building community, and blessings to his wife and all of the people that have lost him, because he was definitely a master rod builder and a great friend to a lot of people. Now I want to transition back into what we're talking about tonight, so we don't stay on such a sad topic, because there was many tears on Christmas Day when I found out about it. But in memory of Kurt, we are going to discuss this whole year, beginning with some of my favorite projects that I did. I was going to put the Phoenix in here because the Phoenix was started actually last December and then kind of was finished. Well, she's not even finished. I ain't even got the guides
She ain't
wrapped.
finished.
I ain't got the guides wrapped on her yet, but the wrap and the grips were, I thought I finished the grips in January, but it was actually December, so she's not in here. But the Phoenix kind of set in this motion of like trying new things and trying to expand my realm of knowledge. And I pulled out some photos of just our stuff this year, and we're going to discuss that. Go figure, blue was the very first project that I got finished in January. This was our oldest design and concept, and he wanted his rod to look blue, so we figured out how to put her stripe in there, and then went as far as to put 2 glass eyes in it so that it looked like her eyeballs. And that was totally drawn up and created by him, and I just helped him execute it, so it's pretty cool. And then a lot of these are probably going to go out of order, but later on in the year, the brook trout. This is whenever I first started really, actually the first time I wood burned a grip and then started adding color to it. This one was really fun. It taught me a lot. I could nitpick it about I couldn't quite get the belly as wide as it should, but the customer loved it and everybody seemed to really like that grip. Crash Bandicoot happened a couple months ago. Actually, about a month ago, I think I finally finished him. But this one was the hardest grip inlay that I had done to date. But each of those characters, I actually had to hand cut all of that out. Even the letters I had to hand cut out because I couldn't get the Cricut to work with me on this one. So that's all by hand with a jeweler saw and then glued back together. We got to meet Doc Ski this year.
That was the highlight.
That was awesome.
Like, beyond all, hanging out, drinking, partying, going to Foley with him. Like,
we went to the CCA event. I didn't get that in there, but that's when we met Doc, was that night, the night before the setup day for Foley. This was at Angler's Resource, and he was awesome. He was such a sweet guy, and I'm really happy that we got to meet him and hang out with him. And learned from him. I sat in on his weaving seminar. He's a funny guy, and he will tell you anything he knows. That really was a highlight this year. Elsa was finished in January, and to date, this is one of my favorite ones I've done. Between the wrap and the actual grips themselves, this one, I still have regrets of letting this one go, but it went to my favorite girl, so it's okay. This one was hard to work on, but it was definitely my most challenging, only my fourth burn, but my most challenging, trying to get a realistic looking handhold between two brothers. And Finn lost his life to cancer, and it was a memorial rod for his father that I was building, and this one really got me. This one made me cry. I got in my feelings on this one a lot. I cried a lot working on this project because the youngest is the same age as our youngest whenever he passed. So it was kind of real, hit home.
Sombering.
Hit home with that one. I did manage to finish my first graffiti inlay this year, which turned into a whole crazy project of all the graffiti stuff in general. The graffiti rods, those are probably the most fun I had on any build this year, because instead of just putting graffiti on the inlay grips and then doing a normal rod, I decided to graffiti the whole rod. And so I learned a lot with trying to do paint textures with spray cans for the background, and then actually going back in there and hand painting all that stuff on there as tags and pictures and stuff. So that's probably my most fun I had this year. And the hot dog and the beer can inlays were just out of the normal. I still love the hot dog. The hot dog is going to his home. The beer can went for somebody else to finish it up. I haven't been able to check back and see how it looked, but it's pretty cool to be doing just random food and drinks on rod grips now. This was at the expo in February, and Jillian actually brought this rod with her and didn't tell me until the last day as they were about to leave that she was giving this rod to me. So that's the rod she built for me. And we took it fishing when we went fishing in June, but we didn't get anything caught on it. Of course, we only had like a couple hours that entire weekend to actually go fishing, so didn't get a whole lot of testing done on it, but it's a cool little thing. And I actually, because I built Elsa and Alice in Wonderland for kids, I was planning to give both of those rods away. And that's the reason why I have a slight regret. I still have Alice because I haven't found a little girl yet to give the rod to. But I asked Jillian if she liked Elsa or if she liked Alice in Wonderland better. And she said, I like Elsa. So I gave her Elsa because she built me a rod. So she has taken it fishing, and she's caught like 6 or 7 fish on it. So I don't just build pretty rods. They actually work. A lot of people are always like, you just build wall hangers. And I'm like, no, they're functional art, man. The Ninja Turtle, just finished him last week. Yep, last week, because he went to a 6-year-old little boy. Overnighted. He got overnighted so he could get it for Christmas. That one has over like 150 itty-bitty little pieces glued into it. And
especially when you drop it and separate it.
He gave me hell. It blew up on me when I was trying to get all the pieces together, and it was just, I had to cut a piece off and redo it the day I shipped it out. Like, it gave me hell, but I finished it. I really like this owl inlay. I wasn't too excited about doing an owl. I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I'll make it cute. But the owl really has become a favorite because, I don't know, I guess because the colors and everything that went into it. And then the pattern that I'm working on, I still haven't finished it, is a pattern I created. So I kind of started to step outside of that, just following what other people are doing and just kind of making my own stuff. Your own. So these little, what I was going to use as overlays, turned into the plaid journey. Which, if you followed me along on the plaid journey, you know I went through like 6 or 7 different versions before I came to those. And that was a whole ordeal in itself, but finally figured out how to make plaid grips, and that was fun. So I did finally prove that you could do plaid grips, but it was just a little pain in the butt to get there from start to finish. The puzzle piece wood, its first wood grip I put together and burned, which I was very upset about trying to figure out how to do such a cylindrical pattern and get it to wrap up, and thought I'll never get this finished. But I ended up taking a printed out version of the puzzle pieces and kind of tweaking the back of the seam together to make it look like it fit. Ended up looking good, but I was upset with it for sure. Reef Candy Lures asked me to do his logo. He's had 2 different logos, and these were probably 2 of the coolest ones that I did this year too. His logos were just fun because he had one that was kind of neon, was the pink and turquoise color at the bottom, and the other one was just that little strawberry candy that, you know, our grandparents always had. That's in their little tin boxes beside the couch, but they were fun to work on. This one is the last grip I have finished for this year for the EVA, and the waves is what made this one fun. The Salty Life inlay in the middle was actually a recreation of the gentleman's tattoo that he has on his back, and that was interesting trying to figure out how to like recreate it with what I could, but it turned out really good. The waves are my favorite thing. The Serape grips, I didn't think I was going to be able to do these.
Such short sections.
Yeah, they're only 1.5 inches for the two small ones, and then the butt is 2.5. So it was a lot of itty bitty little tiny cuts. I did manage to get it down to like 0.5 millimeter on some of them, so that was a challenge in itself. But they ended up being some of the cool grips, and those were a set of grips that I really didn't want to send out, but I had to because somebody else paid for them.
Right.
But I was like,
give your money back. I'm keeping these.
I kind of want to make some for myself now. The Star Wars series. Y'all ignore Luke. Luke is just Luke. The photo I used for Luke, I swear he looks just like it, but he doesn't look
It looks identical to the photo.
It does look identical to the photo, but he doesn't look so good transferred to the rod. He looks kind of odd. His face is odd. His lips look too big. Like, it just looks odd, but it looks just like the photo.
Starting a vacuum cleaner.
He's doing the Kylie challenge with the little duck lips thing.
The lip challenge.
But anyway, and I hadn't fixed Darth Vader here. I realized that it was actually Darth Maul's lightsaber, so I had to go back and fix that, so he doesn't have the two going out to the side anymore. And then the Mandalorian. Out of those four, the Mandalorian and Stormtrooper were my favorites.
I gotta be honest. If we don't sell that as a set and like somebody buys individual,
you're taking the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's staying.
Mando.
I need a little ultralight.
I don't know why I kept that one. This one is my favorite out of them. I really like how the Stormtrooper came out. And that's on a Suka 2. All of those are on Suka 2s that I just used acrylic paint pens to paint that on there. Sugar Skulls. When I was asked to do the Sugar Skulls earlier in the year for somebody in foam, I went, ugh, I don't think that's going to happen. But that one had the most inlays, even over Leonardo, the Ninja Turtle. This one had like 300 and something pieces in it, because each of those little pieces are cut individually and then glued in there. So that one was time consuming, but it wasn't as hard as Leonardo was for some reason. And then another one of my cork grips I painted and burned this year for a U.S. Navy vet who was a boiler technician. This is his foregrip. This one is my favorite cork grip that I've done, between the foregrip and the rear. Like, I really had a lot of fun. And a lot of tribulations with this one, especially with that blue one. I had to go back and had to do a different blue because my paint pen just died and started doing it didn't die. It just started pumping out like 4 different blues, and it was the same pen. So it was like, what the heck? But that one, trying to do a realistic looking flag going around a cylindrical object, definitely proved to be interesting, to say the least. But those were literally like some of the cooler things in there. For some reason, ICAST didn't load even though I stuck it in there. We had ICAST this year. We were in a boat.
Yeah,
that was fun. I was mic'd up this year at ICAST. Wes and I got to take pictures with a crab hat, and I had a seahorse this year. I don't know, but I bought a shark hat to do it with her next year because she always comes and brings fun hats, and we have a shark hat to contribute to it as well. ICAST is always fun, and Kurt was there with us, and he was showing me the things that he does, and I was showing him what I do, and he's like, have you ever tried this? And I'm like, no. And he was always just teaching and then being like, hey, how about this? How about that? But ICAST is always so much fun. It's a different environment, definitely, from the expo versus a gathering, because it's more of a show kind of thing where a lot of people are having meetings and things of that nature, but it's definitely fun being there. And then unfortunately we didn't get to Mudhole because it got rescheduled. So Mudhole advanced classes should have been in this year in review.
Yeah, it's going to be twice in this year.
Yeah, it's going to be twice next year. We're going to have 2 of them, one in January and then one in October again. If they have it again, they should, but I don't know if they're going. I don't know their schedule yet for next year. What other things did I miss this year? What about your rods, the ones that you built?
Which ones?
The 2 that you built. Like, you got the telescopic one and then the other one.
That by far was the best one because it's 6 years in the making now. No, because you were pregnant.
I was pregnant with the youngest. Yeah. So, that was 2018.
Yeah, almost 6 years in the making because you were pregnant with him. He was turning 6 in March.
Mm-hmm.
It's 6 years as of now.
Yeah.
Because I went in December.
Yep.
That would be the number one for me. Actually sourcing the sliding guides for it and getting those to work.
Yeah. And that took you a couple months to sort that out.
And somebody actually going to Japan for me.
Right. And getting it figured out, measuring it and doing all that stuff.
Which, thank you again, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you.
We built a lot of really cool relationships over the last couple of years. Oh, I even forgot. Like my inventory landed this year between the EVA inlay sheets and the blocks that came in this year. So there's been a lot of big changes and doing things and live videos that keep going on in Southern
than I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've got another 14, 15 coming in. I should have them by the expo. Fingers crossed. I should have them by the expo. Like since Christmas, I just feel confused what I'm supposed to be working on because it's like I got to get the house cleaned up because Christmas threw up everywhere.
I know what you should be working on.
What?
There's a 3-piece blank we both have to build.
I know. We got to get our challenge
like
rods done. We've got to get those Bennett finished. And that's what's, it's just like time is just a tick, 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 tick. But like it started after Christmas. I was like, I'm getting in the shop on the 26th. And I haven't been in the shop but like 2 hours since the 22nd. Like I got in the shop the 22nd for most of the day, but the 23rd I woke up and went, crap, I've got to cook desserts. I've got to get all this stuff done for Christmas. We still had to wrap presents on the 23rd. Like it was, but we've been cleaning and organizing kids' rooms and trying to get downstairs cleaned up from the chaos that is Christmas and just haven't made it in here. So hopefully tomorrow or Monday I can get back in here and hopefully finish with kids in tow because they're not going back to school until like the 7th. They technically start on the 6th, but it's an e-learning day. So I have them for one more day at home for that because it's makeup day from bad weather and they go back on the 7th. So 2 solid weeks with them. And the oldest got a computer, and so he's been trying to learn how to edit. So he's always like, Mom, I need help. Mom, I need help. Mom, which that's contributing to
how do I do this?
Not being able to get anything done. But it's okay because that's what we gifted him. And the youngest has drums, and we've been to about 15 concerts since Christmas for him. They at least enjoy their toys, so that's good. But I don't know. Meeting Doc was probably the coolest this year. I mean, I had a lot of fun projects. The graffiti set, by far. I still have it. It's coming to the expo. It's probably going to come to Mudhole, too. After the expo, I think I'm going to try to sell the set. And that way everybody has a chance to see it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, man, I wanted to see it. And I've been holding on to it. I was planning on selling it at ICAST, but I decided to hold on to it for a little while so I could show it to other people that wanted to see it in person. This year has definitely been... I feel like just trying it. Like, people would ask me, like,
just do it.
Do you think that you can do this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, the plaid grips. He contacted me in August. July or August is when he contacted me, and I finally figured it out.
You got it to him in November?
Like, October or November.
I think it was first part of November.
Sometime in that point, because I went through, like, 8 or different sets, like, trials and fails. And I think I'd get it one time and then it would sand down ugly. And so I had to do it again because for the life of me, I have never seen anybody do a plaid grip and foam. So I had no kind of any reference, just the woodworking. And all of their stuff is flat. They don't have to worry about it being round. So everybody was like, try the checkerboard. And I was really trying not to do a checkerboard, but it ended up being the way to do it. Maybe if I hadn't been so stubborn about it, I might have done it sooner.
So.
But...
Tried to tell you.
I wanted to do it as a block and get it to turn down, but it proved to not work. So
proof once again that Mary doesn't listen to Wes.
Sometimes you have great ideas, and sometimes I have great ideas, and sometimes both of our ideas suck, and
sometimes you don't listen to my great ideas.
And sometimes I do listen to your great ideas, and I get forced down this rabbit hole of chaos as well. So I don't want to hear it, man.
Just saying. You should listen the first time.
You didn't tell me to do it the first time like that. I think the third time I went to try it, you were like, you might want to try checkerboards. And I'm like, I don't want to do checkerboards. So I definitely had a lot of challenging grips this year. Haven't been able to do as many decorative wraps as I wanted to. Yeah. But I did get a course out finally. I've only got one sitting in limbo right now that's ready to be edited down for the St. John's. And just splitting time trying to get stuff done has been crazy. But I wouldn't change anything at all. So I do want to discuss our product of tonight.
Before we give away this humongous gift.
This is our biggest gift of the year. This is our final parting to you guys for being there and supporting us. So, dun dun dun. Our product of the night is...
Slip clutch chucks and motors. We're bringing this up as product of the night because we are going to get rid of our drum dryer. It has served its purpose well. It has done a lot for us, but it just takes up way too much room, way too long, and we want to downsize just a little and build our own.
Well, we're not doing as many repairs
exactly
anymore.
We don't need it as much. So we're going to end up building either a 3 or 4 rod dryer, and we're going to use these to actually build it.
So it's either going to be like what? How many? 4 to 6?
No, it's either going to be 3 or 4. I'm either going to do like 3 straight up or 4 in a square.
I'd rather do it straight up. It'd be a lot cleaner pushed up against that, which means
because at the end of the day, we still have the CPW over there that can dry separately. The RBS G2 that can dry and occupy itself.
Yeah.
And then
we have
3
Alps.
over here. That's more than enough for what we do now.
We've got a backup
We
RBS.
don't need to warrant having 10 rods turning at the same time anymore.
No, because we've got them scattered all over the place. Because we have another RBS chuck back there, had like motor, and then we have the Alps, and we've got a couple more that are in storage. So it's like we've got plenty of ways to dry rods if we need to.
Yep.
So I would like to kind of clean that wall up. But the next time when we do start that project, that lovely 10 that we had placed up there is going to be yanked down probably to make room for it or cut shorter. But I do plan to bring you along on the journey for that one, because
make a how-to of how to build a dryer.
So, and then eventually I'd love to be able to figure out a way to kind of tint it in some way, shape, or form, which would be literally just dropping something down in front of it, and that's kind of set up. That way we don't have to worry about dust from the dogs and hair and dander and all that stuff flying around from them. Not that we have a whole lot of problems at night with it, but just for extra protection. If it becomes an issue.
Build a little enclosed case around it.
I don't want to do an enclosed case. We had that originally with the drum dryer, and it was such a pain. But it was also 15 feet long, so...
Exactly. This is only going to be...
It was terrible.
8 foot. Because any longer than that, it's going on the G2.
Yeah. G2 or the CPW. Because it had to go on the CPW if it's longer than that. We've got 12 feet on the RBS, but the CPW can go further out if it needs to, because it's wide open into the room. But we're not building those long rods like we used to. A lot of them's been more like 7 foot to
5 foot.
Well, we've had the 5 foot, but we also have had a multiple piece fly rods that I've been doing. I did more fly rods this year than anything.
Yep.
So they don't need that much to dry, because I like to dry those separately if I can. I do want to take a minute and thank our sponsors. We have to thank Foundation Outdoor Group for all of the amazing giveaways that we've done this year, for allowing us to gift you guys in support of watching us and hanging out with us. And they've been a great company to work with, and I have enjoyed all the events that I've gone to, like ICAST, and it would have been Mudhole for the advanced classes, but I'll be in January. It's just delayed a little. And then Foley was just us traveling, but they came down too. And so we basically were right beside Bob McCamey all day, which was awesome. Bob's just a fun guy, but they've been great support. They've been an amazing company, and I do thank them for allowing us to be able to give things to you.
Especially like what you're about to get.
Especially about the awesome gift that is tonight. And for once, I am actually going to keep the giveaway in the podcast when I put it on YouTube, so people understand that we give some awesome stuff away sometimes. But everything we give away usually ties into either what we're talking about, or it's something that you need. One of the two. It's never just like...
We kind of deliberated on this one.
Yeah, there was a chance that they weren't going to be able to get them because they were out of stock. And then all of a sudden they came back and we snatched some. So without any further ado, what is our giveaway product tonight?
A complete RBS G2 system.
You guys are going to get the Pro wrapper, the entire thing that I use, the 4 thread spools with the motor, and the Pro metal wrapping stands.
Yep.
The entire
tubular stands.
Entire kit and caboodle. The very expensive $699 something wrapper. So I grabbed those as soon as they came back in stock and said, put one on the side for me, because when they weren't going to be in stock, we were going to put together a massive kind of kit.
It was going to be like a complete startup kit
with decorative stuff thrown in.
Minus a power wrapper.
So
like literally every tool possible.
What is the hard question, Wes?
I got to pull it up.
Remember, according to timestamps, whoever gets it first is the winner of the RBS Pro G2 Power Wrapper. The system I work on. That is amazing. I love that wrapper. I can stand on it. I can do all kinds of stuff. And it has a 4 thread spool.
Stand on it.
Sand on it.
Oh, I thought you said stand.
I mean, I could
like,
stand on it. I could stand on it if I wanted to, but I don't. Anyways.
All right. What is the key benefit of using braided carbon in rod blank construction? What is the key benefit of using braided carbon in rod blank construction?
Is this something they can Google if they don't know?
Maybe.
Because I always leave them something they can at least Google if they don't know it.
Maybe. You have to use deductive reasoning.
Okay.
More so.
Are you going to give them hints if they can't figure it out?
Nope.
So
you want the rapper figure it out. Sorry.
He's so rude.
$700 rapper. Gotta work for it.
Greg Thompson says straight to weight.
Nope.
Steven said avoid twist or help with.
That's essentially it. Is to increase torsional strength.
Haha!
So,
Steven
congratulations.
Mendoza. You are the winner of the RBS Pro G2 wrapper.
Congratulations, sir.
So,
Oh, you didn't
Steven.
do your clapper thing.
Oh. I didn't do it. I got to record this. That's my goal for next year. The podcast is going to have some sounds. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to do some work and I'm going to record some stuff so I can be like.
But basically, the benefit comes down to if you have straight carbon versus braided carbon. The braided carbon is going to assist and increase your torsional strength so that it's not versus this. Oh, yeah, you won.
Yeah, man, you won. You won a new power wrapper. Need you to send me a message with your address so that we can have that shipped to you Monday. Be out the door.
Be on its way.
Congratulations. You won the biggest gift of the year. The last episode, even though it's not the most fun topic because we're talking about basically the year in review, is always the biggest gift. Just FYI.
So if you don't watch any other episode, come to the live at the end of the year.
Yeah, right. At the end of the year, that's when we're giving the biggest thing away. Which is why it's a big thank you to Mudhole and Foundation for allowing us to be able to give these kind of gifts to everybody. And it's a big thank you for you guys for being supportive, contributing to the podcast, helping us with photos and doing this information, talking with us during the podcast, because then we can share the stuff that you know with other people as well. This just helps the entire community grow and learn together, grow together. I started saying that earlier this year whenever I was trying to figure out olive branches, and I kind of like it. Kind of stuck with it. All right, at this point, we're going to open it up for questions, any Q&A. I'm going to open it up to anything rod building related.
Even if it's not rod building.
Let's just talk. I do, yeah. Like next year, that's what I really need to work on, getting some recordings and stuff. Soundboard done. I want to get some graphics and stuff.
Write it down.
Give me a pen.
Make it official.
Make it official. Stop. You're welcome, Steven.
Thank you for answering it properly.
Mm-hmm. I guess you didn't make it as hard as you thought you did. It didn't take that long. It took them longer to figure out the Gouda question. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what episode that was, but we were talking about Gouda and what the company was originally making before they started making thread. Those are blocks of cork sitting behind us. We got those from Corks for Us at the expo last year.
Why don't you go to the expo in Winston-Salem? Because Cork for Us.
Look how big they are.
They don't put it on the table, okay?
They hide it.
They hide it behind the back.
Whoa.
Sorry, I dropped it. And it's in bins. But it's usually different designs every year.
We had 3 of them. We've used one.
He just hasn't cut down. And he brings them every year. But you don't put them on the table. You have to ask him about them.
We got them. Who else jumped on them? Was it Steven? Steve Wan?
Steve Wan.
Steve Wan got some. Steve Wan is actually the U.S. dealer for Corks for Us as well. So if you ever have questions about cork, you can contact Steve
Somebody else
Wan.
did too. Because I walked by and asked Steve, I said, y'all get blocks of cork? And he said, well, I've got these that are like, the normal square. I was like, no, I need 2-inch blocks, really, or bigger, that I can cut down. He's like, well, let me ask. So he grabbed Joaquin, and he's like, you got any big blocks? Joaquin was like, I got big blocks, but does he want big blocks?
Big blocks.
I was like, well, how big are they? And he drops these 3 blocks on the table. I said, how much for all 3? He said, you want all 3? Yeah, how much for all 3? I'll be right back. Hold on, let me go talk to the money lady.
He goes running back up to the booth. This man don't run. He goes running back up to the booth. He's like, give me your card. He didn't even say anything. Give me your card. And I'm like, I was counting thread for like trying to give it, because Reggie Callis had bought us out of all the thread that we had at that point in time. And I was trying to count how much was there. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I need your money. I need your money now. I need it. You'll like it.
One of those, take my card.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to regret this. So I handed him the card. He just disappears. Like, poof, he's gone. And he comes back just giggling. He comes up and I was looking at somebody. I think it was Hal I was talking to. And he just slams these things down on the table.
I was like, I found blocks of cork. What do you mean you found blocks? I found blocks.
This is a block. I was like, yeah, that's a block. Good Lord. How much did you pay for that? I think it was only like $100 bucks.
$100 for all three of them.
100, 150? I think it was 100.
12 or 16 inches long.
They were all different thicknesses though. That was our smallest one. The other one was about that size.
They're like 5 inches thick.
Yeah.
5 inches wide.
Because you wanted it for that giant surf rod, and that's what he burned up the other one with. We still have a thin slice of it where he cut off of it, but yeah.
Any new techniques you want to learn next year? I know one.
What?
That you want to learn.
What?
Was it Macarta?
Micarta?
Is that it? Is that what it's called?
What is it? What do you think it is?
That Japanese woodworking stuff.
No, that's the marquetry.
Marquetry. That's it.
Yeah, the marquetry stuff I've been interested in. I keep seeing it. Want to get some books. There actually is a couple. Another one is a Japanese technique. Cloison art. Might be saying that wrong. Where they take basically gold. It's usually gold that they have, but a gold thin ribbon of metal, and they make patterns onto. It's always a flat surface when they're doing it, but obviously I'm thinking a grip or something of that nature. And they make a picture like a fish or, a koi or something of that. And then they usually will fill it in with like a liquid. It's like a liquid sand. I don't know. It's sand and then they mix it and it turns into like a pigment. I adapt this and I kind of want to play around with it. It'd be kind of like a metal inlay, but easier. It's kind of how I look at it. I want to try that. There's a lot of nail art stuff that's floating around. Somebody brought it to my attention again today. They posted it in Southern. And I'm like, yeah, I've been watching these ladies do some cool stuff over the last few years, and I've got a whole bunch of things like.
Oh, that one with the heart I showed you.
Yeah. And somebody shared it into Southern. It's the exact same one. They use magnets to create that stuff with a certain kind of pigment. I can't remember what it is called right now. And you can make all these shapes and stuff with it, and it shimmers. But there's so much that they do with acrylic in general, and gels and spider stuff. Like there's a bunch of playing around with that I want to do. I do want to do my first tiger. Going back to basics, I feel like I have not successfully completed a tiger. I haven't really tried one. And what else have I missed? I would like to figure out how to marble round for once instead of doing it flat and going back and cheating. And what else? I've worked with wood. I would like to I want to do a stacked leather grip. There's a whole bunch of stuff. The list of Alice's thoughts and ideas inside of her head just is endless. It's a bottomless pit of creativity, and you get stuck trying to figure stuff out. Different builds I've been trying to figure out how to do and when to work it in. I want to do a whole music note themed one that has a piano for the grips, the keys. I want to do a galaxy themed one. I want to do one that is like steampunk from butt to tip. I want to do a Transformers rod. I want to make a actual lightsaber. What else am I missing? I want to do that. I don't remember exactly what they call, but it's the mechanical stuff. It's not steampunk, but it's like usually you see it in tattoos where it's like they ripped up part of your arm and like you got the cyborg kind of machinery underneath of it. But I just want to do the machinery part for the entire thing. Make it look like it is, not actually have it.
Build a cyborg rod.
Right. I mean, yeah, you could do that. There's so many different ones. I got to pick.
You got to make a decision.
I got to make a decision. Which, that's the other thing for the challenge, the internet, or the mud hole challenge rod. Like, I don't know. I'm stuck because I don't know what to do. I don't know. I've got so many ideas of things I've been wanting to do for years that I just got stuck. Yeah, I've always wanted to do a steampunk one because you can really go crazy with it between leather and the metal and all that and feathers. And really it's like anything goes with it as long as it looks antique-ish.
I know what I'm doing for my challenge rod.
Good. Don't tell me because I'm not supposed to know.
You'll know.
Oh, obviously, I'll see it, but we live in South Carolina.
United States, South Carolina.
South Carolina. South Kakalaki. Dirty, dirty South. Right?
Ew.
Ew. Did you keep track of how many rods you built this year? No, I didn't. But it's probably, if I had
There's
to
records
guess,
of it.
I've got records. I
didn't keep track up here.
I definitely did way more grips than I did rods this year.
By like 3 or 4 times.
I think I did like 80 or 90 grips this year.
You did a lot.
I think maybe 20.
If that.
I had a lot of flies.
That's a January problem come tax time.
That's a December 31st problem. Me trying to keep up with what I did. I don't build that many full rods. Everybody kept me busy with grips this year, but I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 that are needing to get out the door and get finished now that are sitting in here that are for other people. Plus the fly.
That yellow
5,
one I'm excited about.
6,
You got to
7,
get that finished before the
8,
expo.
9, 10. What yellow one?
The yellow one. The yellow one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's got to go to the expo.
No, yeah, that's due for the expo too. I have 6 rods that need to be finished before, 4 rods that need to be finished before the second week of January, hopefully. And then 2 more right behind that due for the expo, not including anything I picked up since then.
Or the challenge rods.
The challenge rod is part of that too.
Okay.
So no, I don't do high volumes of building rods. And I don't try to say, oh yeah, I build 150 rods a year. Everyone takes a long time. I do less of them, but they cost more. So it balances out. It balances out.
She has more customers say, I can't afford that, than customers that buy rods.
Which totally understand, but the stuff that I do on it takes a long time. And it is what it is.
Which is okay.
And a lot of times I eat a lot of mistakes, like things take longer than they're supposed to. I have to start over. Plaid grips, for instance. I burned through so much material trying to figure that one out for him. And it's not his fault. He asked me to try it. I figured it out. But he was really cool. He's the coolest customer I had all year because he approached me about this, and it was July or August. And I was like, if you can be patient with me, I'll try to figure it out. Is this due on a deadline? Does it have a deadline? And he's like, nah, just take your time. Figure it out. And I was like, and then when he told me that 1.5 inches and 2.5, I was like, oh my Lord. And I talked to a lot of people about the plaid, and I was told it can't be done.
And the serape.
And the serape. You couldn't be able to get the transition on the serape because it was too short. And because I got told so many times it can't be done, I went, watch me. Like, I'm going to figure it out now because, I have to. Because I can't let somebody down. Not to mention, I'd already taken his money, so it was like, crap, now I got to really figure this out. There was a point where I was like, man, I'm about to refund you. Because this is driving me up a wall. But I would put it down for a few days, and I'd always be talking to him, and he's like, nah, I'm not worried about it. It's worth the wait. Thank you. I know I asked you to do some challenging stuff. Like, he was a really cool dude. Thankfully, because some people have deadlines, and they have to have it done with a certain time frame. And that just I would have had to tell him, no, I can't do it.
No way. Come back when you don't have a timeline.
I can play around with it on the side, just because now I want to figure out how to do a plaid grip, because it's stuck in my head. But I won't be able to do it on, I can't do it in 2 weeks. There's just no way. Yeah, I'm thinking I might try to do steampunk, maybe.
I'm taking one of your ideas for the challenge build.
Oh, great.
That you've
Did I say tonight?
No, you've discussed it and discussed it and discussed it and never freaking done it, so I'm going to.
Well, now you're going to have to tell me afterwards, because that's going to bug me.
I will tell you one thing.
What?
You'll have to go to one of your favorite stores with me.
Which one? Hobby Lobby?
It's on East Independence.
Woodcrafters?
Nope.
What's the other one?
Closer to Bojangles.
What's the other one? Closer to Bojangles?
Mm-hmm.
What one?
Bojangles Coliseum. Closer to that.
What store are you taking us to?
Tandy.
Oh.
It's mine now.
Well, now I might be mad.
Or we could do a set and match.
We can't do that. We're not supposed to know what. See, that's
How
the
the hell
problem.
are we not going to know?
We're not supposed to be building together. This first year that instead of us building together as a team, we're building separately.
Because I'm going to beat you.
You know what? I hope you do. I hope you win it. I really do. Seriously. I would die to be in top 10 for once, out of all the years that we've been entering into the challenge, and we've never placed in top 10.
That's because the judges look at it and go, I can't fish this.
Never placed in
It's
top
too pretty.
10.
I'm not going to fish this. This isn't fishable. It's supposed to be on a wall. Blah, blah, blah.
I just want to place in top 10. Like, I can build a rod. But yeah, it's wild. But, dang it. Top 10. That's all I'm asking for. And then next year, if I get in top 10, the next year I want to be in top 3. And the next year I want to win. I'm being realistic about it. We've been in it for so long. I'm just like, build for fun. Haha, here's a rod. Yeah, I'm going to get it back at the end of it. I know I'm getting it back. Like every year. So I don't get upset about it. We do learn every single time because we get our...
Whoa.
We always get our... we always get critiqued. At least when Mark was doing it. He would always tell us what we lost points on and what we needed to fix. And that was really helpful. It's always better to know what you screwed up
Mm-hmm.
and be able to fix it the next time. Because if somebody never tells you you're doing something wrong, how are you supposed to know you're doing something wrong? Or, hey, you can do this a little bit better and you can improve better. You signed up. Good luck to you, too. I enjoy watching other people win. I wonder how many people are entered this year. I don't know. I'll have to ask. Let's see how many people's in the challenge.
I'm not going to use any thread.
You need to stop talking. You're making my brain hurt right now. I hope we have like 50 people that signed up. Because that usually means
awesome.
about 25 would actually finish the rod.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do it last year.
Mm-mm.
I ran out of time. I was too busy.
With everything setting up and getting everything. And
Well, I had like 4 rods to finish before the expo that were like in January when I started them.
mm-hmm.
And that was Elsa. Elsa was one of them.
Alice.
No, Alice was already done.
That's
Alice, I finished her the year before. Well, her grips anyways. But the rest of it was pretty much finished 6 months later because she was just a work-in.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Anything you want us to discuss next year, 2025?
Topic suggestions you want to see?
Obviously, we're getting through majority of the decorative techniques, and I did want to keep this podcast focused on the decorative stuff, but I also don't want to continuously cover the same things again. So the other thing that I want to do starting next year is I want to have a couple Mythbuster kind of episodes where we prove or disprove myths, tall tales, lies, truth that are running around on the internet.
That adds so much weight.
Weight
I can't
problems,
believe you put that on a rod.
any of the above things. I do want to do a couple of those. I forgot to weigh it. I had 2 identical rods with paint on them, and I forgot to weigh one before we started doing all the stuff to it. I need a giant Post-it note somewhere. Weigh the rod. But, like, seriously. Big banner or
hanging in
something.
front of you.
Something that drops
Weigh
down.
it.
Weigh it before ever you get started on it. Because I had 2 identicals that would have worked. Anyways, I want to do Mythbusters. I do also want to discuss thread at some point. I kind of want to do a couple more demos. I thought that was kind of fun.
You could take some of them away from this table and like set it up on the wrapper.
Mm-hmm. I would like to have more people on next year, more guests. Just sort out how we're doing the guests because the first time that we had Don Schaefer on, it was great, but the audio wasn't that great because it was a phone. But then the second time we had Don Morse on, obviously we need to get somebody other than Don on, named Don. But it just took forever to get it sorted out, even though it was set up the same exact way. We were 45 minutes late that night, so that was kind of crappy. Maybe tips on how you approach social media and tips on photos of rods. That's a good.
Write that down.
Yeah, that's a good topic, Steven.
Jot that down.
Jot that down.
Yeah, because we do social media a little differently than a lot of other people.
Mm-hmm. And I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm now on Threads because Instagram is now just posting my stuff to Threads. I don't check it unless I get comments and stuff because I don't. Not that I don't understand how it works. I just don't see the point of it. I have a place on X now, but I don't post there because I don't have time to. I haven't made time for that. I've been focusing on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And now, because there's the chance that TikTok's going to get scrapped, dumping a lot of stuff into YouTube, because that's obviously going to be around for a while. Be trying to look at the schedule and kind of start planning some stuff. I think we're missing maybe a couple other actual decorative techniques. I had them written down somewhere. I don't remember what they are. Once again, it's getting to the bottom of that uncommon list of things that people don't do, like the Giarushi was one of them. Feather selection and inlays.
We covered a little bit of feathers.
I did a feather inlay demo, and we showed a bunch of feathers, but I didn't really talk too much about like selecting them. Leather, I do need to go into leather a little bit more. The different ways to use leather, not just carving it like I do. That's another thing. I want to start working with different materials than what I'm used to, like acrylic. That's the Juma. I think it's fun to say that. Like some of the stuff knife guys work with, because that stuff looks fun. And now that I've got the proper glues to glue that stuff together from the wood grip this year, I've still got G10 over there. I don't know
but
why
I'm
it's
talking
over
like
there, but
using it more so as a dominant than a secondary.
yeah, they've got so many colors.
You know who I want to have on the podcast?
Who?
Take a guess.
Mark Krause.
That one.
Who else?
Bob.
Bob McCamey?
I want to have Bob.
Yeah, boy. I want Bob on. Bob would be fun with the whole background of his industry and how he got started.
How he got in the mud hole and
how mud hole
everything.
came to be, where he is now, what he likes. Bob's a really nice guy.
Be cool if we get Doc on.
Yeah, it would be nice. Have you play with a
How we
3D
could go
printer.
all the way to the West Coast to get Bill on.
I would love to go to the West Coast show.
I'm talking like get Batson on.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Talk about, different parts of the industry itself.
Yeah, like the fishing out there versus over here. Mm-hmm. So you want to know if you played with the 3D printer yet? He has, but not for rod building stuff.
I print things that we can't discuss on the Book of Face.
Or even YouTube.
Neither one like what I print. The things and types of things I print.
He's only played around with it for a little bit, but he's got a legit 3D printer set up over there with everything, and there have been discussions about doing some parts and things of that nature. He just hasn't had time to sit down and do it. Maybe that should be your goal next year.
My goal should be to get out of HVAC.
Well, that is the goal. That's why we're trying to build stuff. That's why we're trying to do this. I want to go to PCS. I really do. There was discussion that they might try to get away from me to get out there because it was Aaron. Mm-hmm. Aaron was saying that everybody was saying, well, if Mary's at Foley, why can't she come to PCS? And he's like, I don't know. We have to ask her. And I'm like, I need the invite, man. I can't just afford that trip by myself because that's literally flying across the country. I would need some assistance with that.
You'd have to take a week to do that.
Yeah. And then we had to sort out if you're coming.
The kids.
The dogs. Because the dogs can't just be by themselves. I don't trust them not to dig out or jump the fence or...
At that point, we'd have to take the kids. Because there's no way family could watch them. Have to board the dogs.
Dogs would be boarded for a week. Which, well, I mean, I got a person that consistent and they love her and she grooms them while they're there. So it's great.
Might just end up being a U trip.
PCS is definitely a goal for me. Maybe the first time. I mean, as the kids get older, it'll be a little bit easier, but because they will travel and they'll be fine. They can keep themselves busy. It's a blast. It sounds like it. Everything I've ever heard about PCS, but everything I've heard about PCS sounds amazing. And it's a totally different vibe over there than it is East Coast because, you know, there's all that whole division about West Coast builders don't like what East Coast builders do, and there's no decorative wraps out there, and they don't really like all the decorative stuff. They have a tendency like what Freddie does with the serape blankets they like a lot of thread inlays. They like inlays over there.
Seems that way.
But not really decorative wraps. At least that's what I've heard when I've talked to people that are from the West Coast. We'll take a couple more questions and we'll wrap up and go. Because I need to have a chat with Steven about his address so we can get him that awesome wrapper. I hope you enjoy it. I love mine.
Yeah.
And they've got so many...
It takes a little getting used to.
If you're not used to the 4-thread spool carriage. The great thing about it is it goes on front or back. Mm-hmm. I like mine on the back side, so it's not like hitting me in the chest. But they also have that thread runner, so you can feed it from the front to the back if you're used to working from the front. That hand tool rest. I mean, they've got so many things that you can add to it, and more coming out in the future.
With dovetail mounts and...
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be like this ultimate machine for all of the things. What else am I forgetting?
But I'll be honest, I prefer the 2-thread to the 4-thread.
I don't mind the 4. I just don't use 4 threads that often. You know what I mean? So I don't really, if I do if I start working on Tigers next year, I'm going to need it. Mm-hmm. But everything I do is usually thread bobbins and hand and on the single or double. I got used to working with just single thread spools because that's all I had. And then I got handed a 4 and I was like, what do I do with this? What the heck?
And that's why we got the 2-thread because it's a little easier to...
Well, we got the 2-thread whenever Greg gave me all that stuff down at Foley when I got those extra 4 wrappers from him that came in that box of stuff. Thank you for keeping rod building new and interesting and not doing the same thing as everyone else. You're welcome. I enjoy it. I have fun. I have too much fun, but I think it's fun. I like to do different stuff. Like, I didn't want to be doing the same thing everybody else was doing because then I was doing everything else that everybody else was doing. So I started off that way. And then one day I just woke up and it was like, why can't I? And then it spiraled.
Why can't we do this?
Why can't I it was the sugar skulls that started it. Why can't I put leather on a rod? Mm-hmm. Because the idea originally for that was leather and lace for some reason. And then I nixed the lace and went sugar skulls. Because I was on Pinterest and saw a sugar skull I really liked. What? Why are you giggling?
No reason.
Like, why can't I do that? And then it just, every time, why can't I do that? That's always the question, right? Mm-hmm. Why can't I? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. This year has been amazing. I've looked forward to all the experiences and the challenges that the customers given me for grips and the builds that people have given me and trusted with me for memorial rods and things that were just super important to them. And it's been fun. It's been a journey. And it's hard to believe that it's almost the end of the year and it's come to kind of wrap up with this as well. But I definitely look forward to doing this again next year.
Yep.
And the year after and the year after and so on until I'm no longer wanted. But anyways, y'all have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
And we'll see you in 2025. Oh, no. And we'll see you next year. Yeah.
You're such a dork. And I love it.
Bye.